Welcome back to the channel. We are starting on part 3 of the camper shell restoration series. It is looking like this outside. I figured today would be a good opportunity to jump inside and tackle tinting the camper shell's glass. The other day, Jenna actually got the CB7 Accord tinted, and I happened to ask the shop owner if he would sell me some material so that way I could tint the camper shell glass. Fortunately, he had a sample roll laying around that he actually just gave to me, so shout out to those guys, Oasis Tinting here in Chattanooga. Because the camper shell glass already has what I believe to be 35% tint, we're gonna just stack it on, and that should get us a pretty dark tint. I don't know what the math's gonna be, but it should provide a little bit more privacy for my stuff and gear that's in the back, as well as when I'm camping. The guys over at Oasis gave me this roll of tint. He said he believes it's 35%. I would agree by looking at it. He said it's, I think, like 36 inches this way, or maybe 40 inches by, he thinks, maybe 10 feet. He never used it because it was a sample roll that was sent to him, so we'll see how far we can get. Hopefully we can get all the glass done with just this roll. To begin, I'm gonna be starting with one of the oddly shaped pieces of glass from the side of the camper shell. This happens to be the passenger side. I'm gonna go ahead, you wanna tint the inside, so we're gonna be working on this side of the glass here. And first things first, we need to clean the heck out of it and get all the grime, all this stuff off the edge. So I'll be using some glass cleaner as well as a razor blade to clean up all these edges of that old gasket material. So I've cut a piece of tint that is just wider than this. I've figured out which side is the tint side and which side is the film side. So I've got a spray bottle filled up with water. I'm gonna add 3 to 4 drops of baby shampoo, essentially. First, I'm gonna hit the glass. Okay, and then here I'm just gonna go through and cut and rough trim the edges. Next, because this is a curved piece of glass, I want to basically try and mold this piece of tint to the glass. So I'm gonna use the heat gun for that, and I'm just gonna lightly go over the whole thing and try and get it to mold to the shape of the glass a bit. Dude, I realized I actually cut the tint for the wrong piece, so I'm actually just gonna switch to the driver's side piece, and that should work because it's just a flipped version of what I was working on. So now I'm gonna try and lay this tint onto this side. Now all we're gonna do, now that I've tacked down the entire piece, I'm gonna go around with a razor blade on the edge, very carefully cutting off the excess material. I managed to successfully tint both sides. And there's a couple imperfections, but overall I'm really happy with it. The imperfections are mainly on the edges, which will be hidden underneath about 1/2 inch seal around the sides. So it's gonna be good. Next, I'm gonna move on to the lift glass. It's hard to see on camera, but it definitely darkened up the glass quite a bit, throwing the 35% on top of whatever the factory was. So I think with all the glass done, it's gonna be pretty dark, and the privacy is gonna be much better on the camper shell. Not to mention it's gonna look a lot better. On the lift glass, I need to remove the little handles and locking mechanism, and then there's more rivets. I think if I take these rivets out on both sides, that may release the whole frame and then I can get the glass out altogether. So that's what I'll do, is drill these out and take these out with a Phillips head. Now that I've got both sides disattached, I can hopefully pull this channel out. Oh, okay, got it. Okay, there's that piece. Now the last two we have are the slider windows. There's 2 panes of glass for each slider, so 4 more pieces in total, but they are relatively small. So at this point, I'm pretty confident I have enough tint to do the rest of the camper shell glass. I may even have enough to redo the truck cab glass on the Tacoma, which would be really cool. So I finished up the windows. I put them all back together. It just rained, I'm sorry. They were looking so good and clean, and then it rained right after I put them outside. But you know what? Good time to test the weather seal. Honestly though, the tint came out really, really good. It looks so much better, and it's not even on the camper shell yet. Definitely gonna be an improvement on privacy. I think it's just gonna look, it's gonna look the business. I also went ahead and repainted all of this trim. So while I had the glass out, except for this right here, this needs to slide into another piece, in that I didn't want to paint that, but everything else got painted black. Just as a refresher, I also painted this trim. I put this window back together, but I didn't tint. This is the one, the slider that is sitting just behind the truck cab. There's no point to have it tinted. I like to be able to see out the windshield when I'm camping. That way I can see out a little bit and see what's in front of us. Yeah, it looks a lot better. I also pulled all of the weather stripping out from the simple green. If you remember from, I think that was part 1 where we put that in. It's been in there for weeks, and honestly, it turned out really, really good. This stuff wasn't too bad to begin with, but this stuff here was really bad and crusty, and it is totally spongy now. It came totally back to life. It's great. All that's left to do is put the little locking and handle mechanisms on the lift glass here. I already sealed everything with silicone. That couldn't be sealed with gasket. I did replace the gasketing altogether on these smaller windows. I was able to reuse the gasketing for this large lift glass, and that's how it turned out. So guys, with that being said, I will see you in the next one. Keep elevating, all that good stuff. Thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Comments down below. Hopefully getting the camper shell back soon, and we can start putting things back together. But I will see you guys in the next one. Keep elevating, all that good stuff. Adios.